Here now to talk about the rising tension. Retired U.S. Major General William Enyart, it is always good to see you. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Good to be with you this evening.
I do want to start with the death of Alexei Navalny, his family demanding his body be turned over, authorities so far refusing to do so until their investigation is complete. What do you make of the delay? Is there any hope of a credible autopsy here?
Well, frankly, Navalny's death is just the latest in a long string of suspicious deaths of Putin's rivals and antagonists. His family has demanded that his body be turned over, but the authorities, of course, are refusing to do so until they say their investigation is complete. I suspect that by the time that happens, it'll be impossible to determine the cause of death. Additionally, there's probably not a qualified pathologist in Russia who would risk their life to perform a credible autopsy.
Interesting. I mean, and that is how stark you are painting that. Literally, someone would be risking their life to come forward and say he was poisoned or there was some foul play afoot.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. When you look at the history of these mysterious deaths in Russia, whether people are being shot in front of the Kremlin or planes blown out of the sky, as happened with Prigozhin, who made the mistake of turning his armor column back around and leaving Moscow alone, to oil tycoons and so on. The people who mysteriously fall out of windows, whether it's in their apartment or in a hospital building in Russia, is absolutely amazing. I don't know that many people fall out of a window in the U.S. in 10 years.
The larger scale here, what does this mean for support for Ukraine in the U.S.? And can you help us understand the context? What would happen if Putin won the war in Ukraine?
Well, first of all, I think, Putin. I think Putin meant to do two things here. Number one, he wanted to silence his opposition. He wanted to thoroughly intimidate the opposition. And secondly, I think he wanted to intimidate the West. But I think while he may have succeeded in doing the former, he certainly has failed in the latter. If anything, it has now stirred up the Western leaders into realizing that they have to absolutely confront this bully. They have to support Ukraine. Congressman Mike Turner was on television this morning. He's the Republican chair of a very important House committee, saying that we must support Ukraine. And he is one of a number of Republicans who are bucking the perceived wisdom that Donald Trump is putting out, that Russia should be allowed to do whatever it wants to do. So I think that this has really spurred a consensus among people who are paying attention that we have to stand up to Putin. We cannot let him conquer Ukraine. It just puts a loaded pistol at the head of Western Europe.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.